Hi guys, this is Rob Stanson with TISB Research and Development. Here's a sheet of a piece of Mumetal that's 16 by 16, 18 gauge. So nice and thick that is. This is how you start off. You get the height, the very top before it curves, and then you get the measurement on the side, and then you take a piece of paper and you draw it out on your head in front of a mirror, and you should get close enough to this right here. This is going to be 21 and 1/4 head size. See how it's a little smaller. I do have cutouts for different sizes of heads, and to see what I do is I draw a line from each corner and then from the middle all the way around. And then what I do is I offset the head and make the back where it covers the curve in the back of your head. You want it below that curve so it wraps around your head. It's a pain in the ass to get those curves and stuff in it, and it takes a lot of time. I can knock out one of these in a day. See, there's one right there. That one is, I believe, 24 and 3/4 right there. And it's really hard when you don't have the person's head here, so you can make sure it fits and stuff. But you try to measure it and stuff, and then check for measurements. And then what I'll do is I'll take if you got your own head, it's fine. But I measured this out to be that exact size for those big-headed people, big-headed TIs. But as you can see, I painted on the outside black. It has copper wrapped around the bottom, and I solder the copper. I weld the Mumetal together as I fold it up and fold it around. And for someone's hat, they could do that too as well. And then what the copper does is that even though Mumetal redirects energy away from the targeted area, and what the copper does solder to the helmet, it will give it that extra oomph, so it'll redirect it instead of constantly being hammered in that area, because they hit you every 4 seconds. This has been, right now they're hammering my left ear with sonic weapons, and I feel the pressure, and my ears on the outside is just a little bit swollen up, but that's only because I had water in it from sweat, and I didn't clean it out properly before I went to bed, and it was squishing all night. But anyways, the sonic ear is amazing. I'm able to function without them slowing me down at any point whatsoever. You can still hear the voices a little bit, but what these sonic ears do is that they cannot direct your attention towards them so that you focus on them. And so anytime you're doing work, you can fixate yourself just on work. And if you take like a bead with a large hole, you put it inside the hole of your ear, and then that will wedge the glass in between the lobe part. I was going to show that here. You can see my ear right here. And there's that ear. But you can't see the thing because I tried some RFID cloth, and I don't know. It just, no big deal. I just did it anyways. It's not going to do anything extra, because cloth and any kind of clothing material, beanies, or anything else is not going to work. I don't care if it's mesh or what. Mesh is not going to work unless it's possibly grounded. You got to remember, These are electromagnetic weapons that literally pierce through your brain. And I had a piece of aluminum behind me one time, my head, and that thing went pew, through my V2K, and that was a hard hit. I mean, it would sound like a 22 ricocheting. So trust me, these are bullets. It's good to have Mumetal covering in your head throughout the whole day. Everything works together. So at night when you go to bed, you're wearing, Magneto, either Magneto 6G Mu or Magneto 7 Resurrection. Both helmets are good. Resurrection saved me from a heart attack, and that thing was badass. And they, no matter what, they could not. A couple times I had palpitations in my heart, and they could not direct energy and tell me to shut up and put me at their mercy. So it's impossible. And now, since the shielding I wear now with silver and brass, my heart is completely healed. No lesions. My internal organs, they don't get hit. Sometimes I feel pressure around the heart, the muscle area around the heart, but what that does is the silver and the brass heals, and it empowers it. Because look up the metaphysical properties. Metaphysical only means they got that from the ancient times when because they had the same problem, plain and simple. Not to this heavy extent as these days, but yes, they had that problem back then. But see, this is what I do, and then what you're gonna need is you're gonna need take yourself one of these boys right here, and you take the pin and you want to round that off, because that's the curvature of your head, and go all the way around. And then what you'll do is you'll pick it up slightly and then hammer it. First you'll lay it flat, hammer all the way around, and then take this and then indent it. And take this and indent it. And then you're going to work and flaring these out and squeeze them together. And then once you get them folded, it'll be like these are going to be overlapping right here all the way around. You just cut off the excess. All you need is a little overlap, about this much. You don't need to make it too much, and just enough to make sure you get everywhere you want to go. Here's another piece of my work table, piece of wood. What I do here is I curve out the bottom in order to make a curve in the helmet, and it really works really well. This right here, I could put the helmet on top of here and then really round off the top. And this is a spud, ironworker spud, and I'll use this too when I curve it, and it's all coupled like a bowl, and then it's hard to get in there to hammer. So I'll take this right here, or I'll take this pin right here, and then you can use a smaller pin to work the curves around the helmet. And then once I get it curved the way I want it, then I'll take it to the freaking welder right there, and then I'll start tacking little tacks all the way up, solid on the outside, and just tacks in the inside just to hold it. And then you'll take a grinder and grind the inside, and in the outside you don't have to, it will stick to the hat a lot better, but just at least take a file and clean off the outside a little bit and rough up the edges and stuff. But this is the start of a Mumetal day cap that you need to wear 24/7. I mean, if you don't have a Magneto helmet, then I suggest you wear this all the time. This will greatly reduce the hits that are damaging your brain. I have researched serial killers and the evil within. There are serial killers, and there's a doctor that made a scale of how psychopathic they are and everything, and they showed pictures of a person, and now may I mind you that those people that were serial killers were targeted. Okay, they riddled their mind where it just is damage, and that way it awakens you even more, and that is where they can cause control. Some of these serial killers stared at the TV fuzzy, several TVs sometimes, and just did not pay attention to people that were talking to them. And the next you know, there's a guy that just murdered 2 of his children and shot himself. He had that same thing. They got in his head. He didn't know. He was focused on them. And then next you know, it's the same thing with rapists. If you study, these serial killers have the same symptoms as you. A lot of people, like the shootings and everything as well, they'll riddle the mind, from constant, every 4 seconds to your brain, damaging it. Now, you better take that serious, okay? Because my brain is fully healed. That thanks to Magneto. And Magneto, what it does, it creates good blood flow. And good blood flow creates healing. Magneto Resurrection, that pushed so much blood through my brain like it was never moved before, because it gets clogged up with those chemtrails. Aluminum slows it up and clogs up your receptors. And shoot, I would only suggest a resurrection with a waiver, that you start with that 2 hours, and then another 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. Work your way up to about 6 hours, and then sleep all the way through. Or unless you're crazy like I was, and sleep for about 6 hours, and then have brain pain for about 6 hours. And my brain was moving like freaking, it was fired up. But it was painful because I couldn't stop, I couldn't soothe my brain. But after, it's like freaking amazing, because that helmet saved me from the chemtrails in San Diego, at which in the bowl, the pressure is great, and more intake on the chemtrails, which is not good for you. Cities are bad, and every city is in a bowl. You must remember that. That's why I choose the highland out here in the desert. It's windy, and it blows out chemtrails. Mostly clear skies and stuff. They even had freaking HARP change the direction, because usually the Cajon Pass blows west. All of a sudden, when I came here, the Cajon Pass was blowing east, northeast. And I was like, oh, they switched that up. But it backfired on them, because the ocean creates that cool and heat, and then creates a fog, and fog holds in chemtrails like crazy. By the ocean is also bad. And you guys got to remember, choose the highlands and stuff, like places that are not as foggy, not as misty. Clear skies and a nice wind every day is perfect. And a good altitude like I'm at right now. And but I'm telling you, I can last about 4 or 5 days down in San Diego, down in that place, and I got to get back home, so I decompress, and it's just like diving, same shit. And then plus they're able to freaking, because I couldn't even see the mountains out there. It was so chemtrailed, fogged up, and that's scary. I double up on my Corella, and Corella saved me from having to wear a respirator all the time. But anyways, that's how it goes. Get yourself a pair of gloves, and some clamps for the welding. You can go to Harbor Freight and buy yourself a cheap welder, a wire feeder, or you can rent it, or if you know anybody. But all you gotta do is weld the seams. That's it for now with the with the shielding. And remember, you're gonna need copper, and that should do it for now. But here's the setup. The helmet. I can knock these out in a day. I'm back to work, and that way I can get out some helmets that my clients are patiently waiting for, and I appreciate you guys. All right. TISP Robert Sanson signing out for now. Peace.